You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
Indeed.
Oh. Back that beat. DJ. That's my DJ. Go DJ. That's my DJ.
Yes.
What's going on, fellas?
What's going on? Welcome to the Fourcast. We are minus member right now, but hopefully we will get him jumping on the show here in just a minute. But welcome back to the Fourcast. We review movies, films, documentaries a completely different way, 4 different perspectives, and we only review Black films because we believe those should get the publicity and those should also get the pub. And this is not your Siskel and Ebert, like Doc says. So we definitely gonna come with it tonight with another good one.
Not your mom and daddy, Siskel and Ebert.
Not at all.
Forget that.
Man, this one. Before we get into it, Doc, we gotta talk about the attire tonight. What's going on? What you feeling?
Well, it's really inspired the movie. You people, they, because they came so hard with the fashion, let me just say this. Yeah. My last line of my notes, I said, this movie makes me believe in me, motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? So now they done unleashed something in me, So yeah, that's what this is about.
Oh, they were definitely with the music and the fashion.
To the fashion in this movie, huh?
Yeah. They were definitely with the fashion and the music and the location. Yeah, they were definitely with it.
No doubt, man.
They were with it.
Yeah. R.I.P. Nipsey. I mean, they had some Nipsey hustle in there.
They did.
So that was dope. That was dope. Wilkes, how you doing tonight? You got to show us what you got in the glass too.
Well, it's not going completely, but that's the mudslide going on over here. We got a little Kahlua, got some bourbon in there, and some vanilla scoops. And got some little, they're cow pies, but they're just like turtles with the caramel pecans and chocolate. So just something I threw together.
Niggas only pie, you said?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, sir. You people. You people pies.
You people. What do you mean, you people?
You people pies.
Hey, Trap, good to see you, man. How you doing tonight?
All good. What's up, homeboy? They was patting you down at the theater. It caused you to be a little late. What's up with it?
Well, it's a little cold here in North Texas where we are. 3 of us are in Forney.
Hey, homeboy, Wilkes, that amaretto sour is giving tonight.
I'm telling you, man.
It is giving. And I was heavy on the sour too, baby.
Hey, that amaretto, I'm telling you, man, it's always a good fallback.
I'm feeling right.
It's always a good one. It's always a good one.
K-Rap, a.k.a. Keisha, a.k.a. The Realist, a.k.a. Key Lolo says you're looking a mess.
Royal mess.
Thank you. Hey, I take that as a compliment for somebody as absent-minded when it comes to fashion. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Shots fired early.
Over the fence.
Yeah. Big Illinois in the building first. Appreciate you for tuning in. He said, "What's good, fellas?" Appreciate you. All right, so You People is what we're reviewing tonight. This film had a lot of publicity, had a lot of pub, with it coming out on Friday.
You just said that publicity and pub is the same thing, man. People might not have noticed it, but me and Wilkes was all over it.
We own it.
A lot of The realist back again. Golden Brooks in the building. Thank you for tuning in. Living a life like it's golden. So this film's got a lot of heavy hitters in it. Obviously, Eddie Murphy, Laura London, Jonah Hill, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I mean, so many people in this film. Had a lot of really had a lot of high hopes on this one, and like we do at the beginning of the show, Doc, you want to give a little intro of what the show's about?
Yes, sir. So the plot on this particular one is a new couple and their families reckon with modern love amid culture clashes, social expectation, and generational differences. It stars Eddie Murphy, Jonah Hill, Lauren London, Nia Long, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, David Duchovny, Rhea Perlman, Lala Anthony. Anthony Anderson made an appearance. Dion Cole made an appearance. Mike Epps did the food. Star-studded cast, released January 2023. It was a screenplay written by Jonah Hill and Kenya Barris. They did a fantastic job on it. Again, put out by Netflix. And so that's what we have on the particulars of the film.
Yes. So it's entitled "You People," like Doc just said. Just came out on Friday. We definitely wanted to get this in early. Initial thoughts. Let's go to A-Trap. I know you're a big Eddie fan too.
I truly enjoyed it. Jonah Hill and Kenyon Barris did a great job on the script. Like you said, Eddie Murphy, probably my favorite entertainer ever. I don't have nothing, it was dope.
Yeah, it lived up to the hype because with all the star-studded actors, you wonder that you can be able to, have all these people on screen and to be able to equal quality. And it was beyond great. I was definitely laughing the entire time. Jonah Hill is hilarious. I didn't think he was actually that funny, but he's been in so many films.
Oh man, that dude's
pretty
funny when he wants to, if he's in the right script, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I love everything Jonah Hill has been in, man. I think the dude's got some natural, kind of subtle comedic tendencies.
Yeah.
That
was the sexiest you ever seen him look.
Why would we have a problem with that? I ain't got no problem with that.
You rock what you rock, man.
It might be one motherfucker on this cast that don't want to hear it, but as far as I'm concerned, I don't give a fuck.
Eddie Murphy, my hero.
Love what you love.
Eddie Murphy, my hero. I can't hate him.
Yeah.
Still screw what's his name? Melvin Van Peebles' son. I don't say his name no more.
Wow.
So you talking about better than Delirious and Raw? Because man, he had that leather.
That's when they thought he was at it.
Hang on, Wilkes. I think Ben is trying to say he was fine to him in that leather on Delirious and Raw.
That's what the women said.
Did he give you a partial chubby, Ben? Delirious and Raw? Is that what you're trying to say?
That's what the lady said. And Kilolo was around during that time, so she may,
Man.
That's Blue Streak Freak. I know who that is. Facebook user. She's normally here around this time. All right, Wilkes, what's your thoughts?
I thought it was done really well. I mean, from the music, from the podcast setup, from the equipment they were using. I mean, the topic. Yeah, I mean the location, LA. I mean Los Angeles, Crenshaw. It was done well. I enjoyed it, and I just felt like Eddie fit this role. Like
that's well said.
I don't know. It felt like he was. I mean, I guess he never really left, but it just felt like he was like, "Hey, man, this script gonna have to be right. If y'all want me on with, which it may have been maybe his idea too. I don't know. I didn't really look in that deep, but I mean, I just felt like he never left that. Like he just, eased right back into it. Eddie Murphy, didn't miss a beat. It was just raw delivery from Eddie, and Laura London, of course, I watched her in The Game, the TV show that used to come on, which I think is on Netflix now. But I think she kind of just did her. I felt like she flowed well, and Jonah Hill did his thing, and my boy David Duchovny. I mean, if you haven't watched Californication and watched the other stuff he's been in, I mean, it's just it went well.
Right, just Joe. Yep, that's some
Exactly
Nipsey Hussle in there. They had they paid respect.
If you have not seen Californication, if you have not seen Californication as a series on Showtime, I suggest you take it in. Fantastic show.
Yeah. Anything else you want to mention, Doc?
No, that's it. Let's dig into it, man. Let's dig into this thing.
Yeah. So the opening of it, and me and Erica watched this, and we was like, "What the hell are they talking about?" But that to me, that was a great opening, just to say, like, this is off the rails. It's not gonna be, it's not gonna be cookie cutter. It's not gonna be cute. It's gonna be raw, and we just gonna say how we feel. That's what I kind of got from the opening of it. And shout out to Sam J, comedian. If anybody's seen her stand up, she is actually funny, and her lines in this film too I thought was definitely solid. So big shout out to her.
Yeah, but I wasn't familiar with her work.
Yeah, that's the first time I've been
familiar with her work at all.
I think she had at least one stand up on Netflix. That's all I've known her from, but she's a good comedian, and she did some writing for SNL, so she's got some chops.
Well, we talked about her, fashion overall. We kind of mentioned it, which again, hence the wardrobe tonight. But we kind of mentioned the fashion play, right? And I got news for you. You know, in addition to some of the clothes, little purple outfit that Lauren London had on when she was riding with Julia Louis-Dreyfus. If that ain't your style. Hey, when I say banging, Lala Anthony had a couple of outfits that was banging, especially at the women's bachelorette kind of little thing, get together, soiree or whatever. But Sam J, her character, you know, now I can't believe I'm saying this, but when I say, you know, as a lesbian, the bottom, or is she the top? Anyway, some of her fashion was just as banging. I got news. It was a couple of sweaters and stuff she was wearing. I'm like, I need to go grab that because I think she was even, you know, her wardrobe was tight. You know,
she was killing it. And Jonah Hill too. Jonah Hill got some swag, man. He had those he had some dunks on. He had some of those Air Maxes.
The white
the white berry white, yeah.
Call it, man, the white berry white.
That was good. That was a good one. That was a good one. Definitely. A-Trap, what was your thoughts on the opening? And you got anything on Sam J?
Oh no, yeah. Sam J, super funny, man. Like you saw the Netflix special I did too. I thought it began very well. Awesome dialogue, let you know which direction the movie was going into. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, how lucky are we getting with the movies that's giving the little kids to the podcast, you know, and whatnot? Right. If that doesn't tell you where podcasts are culturally right now, nothing will. You know, I mean, just think about the recent movies and how big of a deal they're making it, and the struggle being, especially some of the conversations we've had, some of the meetings we've had over the last 30 days or so, and Jonah Hill thinking about doing it full time and quitting jobs and all that other kind of stuff. Yeah. I'm like, man, if this show wasn't tailor made for us to review, I'm loving it, man.
Yeah. And it's back-to-back weeks because last week too was another one just right up our alley. The Jewish church scene. That was
that was great.
These motherfuckers talking right in the middle of church.
Right.
But what's so funny? See, again, we're again breaking this down from an artistic standpoint. From Kenya Barris, he also directed it, right? So looking at it from that standpoint, and think about how they came in on the shot, right? They came in on the shot looking at everybody's church shoes, and then they got to Jonah Hill's kicks, you know. So they telling a story without having to tell the story, right?
Wow, you said. I mean, it wasn't. It didn't look real between Jonah Hill and Laura London. It more seemed like friends.
Yeah,
But the vibe though, and just the music and how they clicked, I thought it worked.
yeah. No,
Big
I think
Illinois
they
saying
pulled
that
it off.
joint didn't work for him.
I think they pulled it off. But you gotta understand Big Illinois and his track record, man, and where he come from. He ain't been in the free world for a long time, man. He here for a good time, not a long time. You feel me?
Wilkes, thoughts on the church scene?
Yeah, no, I just I was cracking up. Of course, they were scanning the shoes, and then they show Jonah Hill. I was like, okay, well, we already know. Let's go back. Then, of course, it's Julia Dreyfus.
Thank you, Lily.
She's in the house, and you're like, man, where is your yarmulke at? And it's like he left that, and he's like, oh shit, it's in the car. She's kind of like, well, do you know we're in this goddamn young Kippur? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
go get your shit. Yeah,
and that was the first introduction of Rhea Perlman too. The one, the only, the classic, the legend Rhea Perlman, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Good point, Alicia. That was the point, though. They weren't supposed to go together.
Right.
Jonah Hill was pissed having to stand up for 45 minutes.
Right. He wasn't with it.
Yeah, man. He didn't seem out of place at all. This seemed like this is what Jonah Hill does on a week basis. It didn't seem like he had to pull it off.
Right.
It seemed like that was him.
Yeah, and for him to have, I think they set it up nicely with him having a podcast with his best friend, who is an African American lesbian. Right, it's not far fetched for him to end up with a sister. You right,
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm with it, and I can't wait to when we get down the road a little bit. I want to tell you about some of the banter that me and my partners that got a group text that I went to high school and grew up with, been knowing for 3 decades. They didn't know we were reviewing this, and one of them just jumped on the text and started saying stuff about it. So I want to get your take on some of the things that they said. I think it's fascinating.
Yeah, Big Illinois says Burr's writing style works for a TV series. Sometimes, you got to make sure you put that in there. The cut scenes made it seem like you were watching a TV show. I don't know. Did y'all feel that way?
I didn't pick up any of that. I didn't.
Well, I picked up on it, but I think it was excellent for this because it was a perfect combination of satirical writing for television and movies. Jonah Hill brought the movie aspect from it to it, and Kenyon let you know that we're gonna touch on all points of culture. So that's what I truly liked about it. What Big Illinois didn't like is exactly what I did.
Yeah. And A-Trap, I got a surprise for you tonight. I don't know when I'm gonna play the video, but got a surprise for you from our good friend Cole Johnson. So be on the lookout for that in a minute. Chief Rock in the building says, hey, 3 Hays. Hey.
No, you saying it wrong, man. Hey. That's how you supposed to say it.
That's not how he said it.
Yes, it is.
No, that's how he said it. It's the way
I know it.
Man.
You don't have to, man. Come on, H. You don't even have to go there with Ben. This is the same dude who thought Eddie Murphy was fine in Delirious and Raw. So he is not.
Hey, I'm just saying what the ladies would have said. I'm just saying what the ladies would have said.
Hey. Everybody knows it's the Wayne. Shit, how you want him to spell the shit out? Hell, he can't do no better than that.
Big Mo in the building. Thank you for tuning in. Producer, podcaster, extraordinaire. Make sure to check out and follow him. They have a show on Sundays. I'm drawing a blank. What's the name of it? A-Trap?
Wrap It Up Podcast.
Wrap It Up
Podcast. Produced by Big Mo.
Get your boy, man. Get your boy.
Hey, Chief, I had to cuss a dude out last night, man. I had to cuss a dude out. My voice jacked up.
Sometimes it be like that. So, man, I had in my notes hilarious from the beginning. It just hit you right in the gut. Like, this is about to be funny.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a lot of people in it, but they all gonna get screen time. But they're all gonna get some one-liners, and it's all gonna work. Every last person had something that made you laugh. And I think that just showed that they put the time in. They put the time in. I think they had a great script. And Kenya Barris, man, to be able to do the amount of shows that he's done with obviously with Blackish and the different spinoffs of that, I was definitely looking forward to it. And then, you know, Eddie coming in, Eddie doing his thing as always. The dope music, man. Just every scene cutting, and to A-Tribe's point, when they did cut to a different scene, they had some dope music that it didn't seem like it was out of place or it didn't fit. It just seemed like it gelled with the show, with the movie. Anybody else want to mention?
Yeah, no doubt, man. And as far as the laughing is concerned, we all are in this situation, man, that we are all in a situation where, man, think about it. You're absolutely right, Chief Rocker. You know, it already been the crown of it. But hey, check it out. So we all got the same complaint about comedies nowadays. It's not really funny. You know, there's not a lot of laugh out loud moments. And this one early on got you laughing, you know, and some of the awkward exchanges, like when Jonah Hill and his boss is trying to greet and they spend 5 minutes trying to greet each other and it's awkward as shit, you know. You know, so yeah, I think that was fantastic, man. And when you talk about, okay, so they're spending a lot of time intensely talking about really nothing at the end of the day. Like they're debating stuff, you know, and it's like, well, you know, you're really not giving me the this particular Drake. You're giving me CBL Drake. You know, you're not giving me, you know, a conversation that's really not about anything, but they're intensely debating it, you know. And I think that line of comedy is super funny. And as far as the soundtrack, man, when I say solid additions to that playlist that we all have, hey man, listen to me right now. For our audience members, if you don't understand nothing, if you don't get nothing out of this, but that playlist, go download Where Did the Day Go by Wet and Stay High by Childish Gambino and Brittany Howard. Those two joints out of this song, hey.
Yeah.
Hey, when I say it set such a vibe for that playlist, man, soundtrack is banging, man. I picked up probably about 4 or 5.
Yeah, I have to agree because, you know, Insecure did that to me when I was watching Insecure, but they just had that music to go with the show, and they found artists that I had never heard of. Some were independent or underground, and some were probably local or well-known. I just wasn't up on them. But, yeah, Insecure had that same vibe when I watched it, and this had that same thing. It was just like, man, these playlists is carrying these movies, these shows.
See, Big Ol' Noise, you got 2 things you said you liked, and it was funny. So you're getting closer. By the end of this, you could give it a 3.5. You're getting closer.
We get him in the door.
You're getting there. So Jonah Hill trying to find somebody, you know, and that scene where he was talking about how he's trying to, you know, the Drake conversation, he's trying to find somebody. He ends up going on this date that his mom set him up on. And she was like, man, you're just a Jew from West LA. What you know about the culture? What you know about all that? And so that was kind of she was kind of test his gangster a little bit.
Yeah.
But that was one of the dates he went on. I think that was the only date he went on before he actually ran into Laura in London. Where did they? She thought. Oh, so let's get into that real quick. He thought that was his Uber. That whole interaction.
Yeah.
I thought was dope too.
Yeah, no doubt. And it happened to be the same car. Hey, so I was watching this with somebody, and we both cracked up on the name of the Uber driver. The Uber driver had like 4 names, Hyacinth something being toward the end of it. And so I'm gonna admit I might have been a little high when I was watching it the first time, but but we both laughed out loud at that part, you know. And then I made a note that for the first time since 2014, I believe is the year when Step Brothers came out, that's the last time I laughed so hard that I almost passed out. I started catching cramps when I was watching Step Brothers, and in this one,
that movie,
I laughed so hard I literally almost passed out, man.
Yeah, man. Step Brothers is the classic, man. I could watch that at any point in time.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chris Young. I don't know if you remember Chris Young.
Yeah, I remember Chris, man. Yeah. What's up, homeboy? Chris done lost a lot of weight, man. Looking good.
Yeah, man.
Looking good.
Yeah. All right. If you're tuning in on Facebook, there is a new feature on the BS3 Network page, on Doc's page, on my page. You can send us stars. That helps us as we continue to grow the BS3 Network brand, as we continue to grow Queen Theory and King, the Fourcast. So if you got some change, go ahead and help us out with the stars.
Yeah. And if you're spending the kind of money you spending on eggs, shit, you can afford 99 cents for a star. Hell.
Right. True. Right. If you got them in a seatbelt.
Hey, I had to get them home. Y'all know how far Brussels is from the house. Shit, I couldn't take no chances.
I'm surprised you got out the store with them.
It wasn't a fight.
Yeah, you can catch me at the store.
And then also, while you're on that, Ben, subscribe again to Fourcast. We have a new YouTube channel as well. Yes, so please go to that YouTube channel, subscribe there, like this video, et cetera, for us, please.
Yes, appreciate that. Definitely do.
Yeah, Chris. Hey, Brother Young, good to see you, man. Yeah, I'll be watching you.
Definitely. All right, so before we get to that, so the Uber scene, which she did look like the Uber driver, number
exactly
one.
Like it was her. It was a picture of her at the end of the day in her younger days.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looked. Yeah, that was definitely a coming to America kind of thing right there.
Yeah. A-Trap, any thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, that was super cool. Nice way to how most friendships can begin on the chaotic situations in these movies. So it was classic entry to romantic comedy.
Yeah.
And while you're on it, how was Cher last night, Adrian?
Do you believe in love, Jack?
After love, I do. Yeah.
she dropped a couple. I got you, babes, out there. So.
Yeah. I don't know what y'all talking about. I smash Cher.
But what she wearing? But she wearing the knit stockings with the.
No, she was out there with a butt out like Prince.
Oh, she had a butt out like Prince this time.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't hit Cher in the fight.
And Ben would, and Ben would hit Prince too, according to his stance on Eddie Murphy.
Oh man.
All right. And so Eddie comes in, his introduction, the hoodie that he had on, man. It said Fred Hampton was murdered. I mean, to me, that was dope.
And they didn't do no talking. They let the scene develop. I loved it, man.
And he came in on James Brown.
Yeah.
We know about the SNL skit with him and James Brown. So yeah.
Start dropping the nigga word like it was going out of style. I loved it because I'm like, that's more likely what dialogue is going to be, man. So I think the fact that Kenya Barris and Jonah Hill, teamed up on this, it allows some authenticity, based on those cultures. In fact, Denzel Washington said it in an interview when they were asking him, well, why do you think it should have been a black director on, I can't remember the movie they were discussing, but he goes, it's like, imagine if I tried to direct The Godfather. He goes, I couldn't, culturally, I couldn't do it justice. He said, so that's why I should be a black director on this particular film, So the fact that Kenya and Jonah collaborated like that, love it. Yeah. But I thought that, them throwing around the nigga like it was, it made you comfortable with the movie, man.
Well, I said it was just classic Eddie. He just, like I said, he just eased right back into it, like he didn't lose a beat. It was just like he had been saving that one up.
He was really like, "Oh man, get off my lawn," but it was still fun.
Yeah.
It was relatable. It was gentrification. You go into a spot and you're like, "Hey, all these niggas were in here before. Why they in here now?"
My first time. I've done this before.
Right.
Yeah.
Check my resume.
But they had really intelligent dialogue because the son was was like, talking about the gentrification and that kind of thing, and she's on this bee pollen and, all that kind of stuff. He's
So
like,
they had a butterfly
pollen,
dust?
this in the damn bee pollen. They had butterfly dust,
Yeah, right. It's just classic Eddie, man. He just man, classic, man.
I wonder even if they just freestyled that. I mean, who knows?
I was thinking that in several instances.
Right.
In fact, one of my notes at the end was, I'd love to see the outtakes of this, because
How
the
did he stay straight,
outtakes
man?
had to be hilarious.
Yeah, he couldn't keep it
So
straight.
I bet it was a lot of ad lib here.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, he said, I got the nappiest hair in here. Yeah.
He was talking about, he goes, look, everybody got curly hair. Then he looked at this one dude. He said, step that nigga over there. But what was funny about that is that dude's hair was exactly like Eddie Murphy's hair.
Right. I think that's how you can tell they was just like, hey, just do your thing, Eddie.
Yeah.
Man.
We don't need to coach you.
Man.
We don't need to coach you up. And I think that's what made this work. It was so many veteran actors that you didn't have to, coach them up or get them in the scene and get them set up and all that. You did have some, young actors like the son, but I think you had so many well-known actors that, it moved and it gelled well. Yeah,
I thought the son, which is Lauren London's brother, and I think the white girl, which was Jonah Hill's sister, I think they did their jobs.
She was pretty funny. Yeah,
she was funny too.
Yeah.
She was funny too.
Yeah.
What's that part when she walked in? She's like, hey.
It was at first. Exactly. Yeah. And when Julia Louis-Dreyfus told her, pull over, she's like, I'm sorry. She's lesbian. She likes women too, or whatever she said. That was hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Julia Dreyfus doing her thing. I mean,
hey, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, man, she
like
is.
Clockwork.
Hey, if you think Seinfeld was an accident for her, if you think the Veep was an accident for her, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, man, is the shit, man. Yeah. She's fantastic. She's legit.
And she had a show, I think it was called The Adventures of something.
Suzanne or something?
That show was hilarious. I mean,
something like that. Yeah,
something like that. But whatever she's on, man, she
they let her go too, I think.
Yeah,
I think they gave her some rope in this thing too, and said, "Hey, just do that shit."
I agree. All right, so 6 months later, they fast forward, and they're meeting Ezra's parents, and that was that opening scene where the daughter comes in. She's like, "Whoa, hey, who's this?"
Hey, I'm gonna give it to y'all. David Duchovny playing Ordinary People.
Oh my God.
By John Legend.
David Duchovny, man.
My God. That funny shit.
Man, that dude, I was like, is he serious? He was hanging in there too.
Man. Yeah.
He had the serious funny role.
Yeah.
Where it wasn't like he was trying to be funny, but he was
like the dad that was always drinking and stuck on one conversation.
Right, exactly. Hey, that was lost. Yeah, but him playing Ordinary People.
Like that Kendrick Lamar skit. He ain't worry about them dominoes. Hey man, just bring my car back, man. He over there high as hell. He ain't about no dominoes.
Hey, and when Julia Louis-Dreyfus said, "Oh, I'm gonna have some black grandbabies,"
He was
like, "Hey, I know you're excited, but calm down.
Calm down.
Yeah. Ease up.
Kirby Alexander in the building. Thank you for tuning in.
He when do you talk about police brutality? We talk about that all the time. Who do you talk about it with? There's Shelly. We talk about
there's Barb.
Yeah, deep conversations. We love them. We're right in there. Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So interracial relationships, that obviously that was a huge part of this movie, and you knew, obviously, they're not the same race, but you couldn't tell. It wasn't like let's make this awkward.
Yeah.
Now it was funny, but it wasn't like let's make this a thing. Let's make this a central part of the movie.
Yeah, he loved Exhibit, but
boy, X to the Z, man.
Stop, man. And then about braids.
Pimp My Ride was outrageous. I love that show.
And then at the wedding, he's reading like his Wikipedia.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Wikipedia bio. I'm like, this
Like,
nigga
hey,
is
Dad,
in
sit
love
down.
with exhibit.
Hey, sit down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So check this out, Ben. Since you talked about the interracial relationships, I think this is a good point to talk about what was sent in my partner's group chat. Okay.
Cool.
Again, they did not know we were reviewing the movie. It just randomly came across the group chat. One guy sent out a text that said this: movie out on Netflix about a Black and Jewish couple, right? How in the hell does Jonah Hill get to be the love interest of a beautiful Lauren London? I'm just saying, it's highly unlikely that you would see the fat brother in Lean on Me playing the love interest of Margot Robbie, right? You know, I thought that was funny. Another cat came back and says, man, I don't know. Some of our white brothers ended up with some fine sisters. And I think the problem is we look at the sisters differently after they get with the white dude. In other words, we probably didn't see her as dateable until the other one got with her. I'm just saying. The other brother who made the original comment said, true, I think that goes for Black men and women, more so women. Having said that, the movie is funny so far. I'm only about 30 minutes in. The cat finally finished with this. To your point, we as Black men have really dropped the ball. Our disrespect of Black women has opened the door for other groups of people to think that it's acceptable to talk to and treat our women differently. I'm at the point where it doesn't upset me, but I can understand why sisters date outside of our race more so than I do brothers. So again, the interracial component of this movie was widely known.
It echoed.
It echoed. It pushed the button that I think it wanted to push.
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And especially when you see somebody that is outside of the culture and they seem very versed
in the culture.
Yeah. But you
they
wouldn't start wondering.
Been to the cookout.
Right. And then you wonder, it's like, okay, is this really your way of life, or are you just doing it to get by? Because when it's time to have these serious topics, then you're not nowhere to be found.
Yeah, see, Jonah Hill said it best toward the end of the movie when he was telling the movie, you've been treating me like a researcher and not I can't remember the other word that he called it. He goes, you've been treating me like a researcher and not a participant or something like that, which is basically like I'm trying to get information instead of really having information.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I thought that was that's some good comments too, because I think more so, and you guys can comment on this, I think it's just more so people want to love who they want to love. I think it's just whoever they vibing with, that's it. And that goes to the point of male, female, same sex or whatever. People are just going for a person that I connect with. I think that's maybe the difference in, I think maybe in what we've experienced during our time and what's going on now. I think that's what it's going to come down to.
And to your point, a classic example of people wanting to love who they love. You want to love Eddie Murphy and Delirious and Raw. So you're right.
Oh, man.
I think you want to love him real hard, according to your comments.
This nigga.
Sorry, man.
Oh, you good. Ezra talking to Eddie and Nia. That was another dope scene. Number one, you don't do that. You do not invite your girlfriend's parents out on your own. Don't ask her. Don't even bring it up.
Yes.
Like, I don't know how in the hell he expected that to go smoothly at all.
He was not thinking. Why don't you do it? That's exactly what you do.
No, that's exactly what you do. That's
right.
Not those
parents.
That's
old school. That's old school respect.
Yeah.
Right.
He was going to after-handed marriage. The movie made it as awkward as they could because that was the point of the movie. But as far as him doing it, I thought that was genius move on his part.
And then, like she said, then you took him to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffle.
Yeah, and then how he was getting all fidgety. It was like, I need to go check on the waiter. Let me see what the waiter is. He went straight Karen there or Marin for a minute there when he was trying to find the waiter. But hey, Trap, you gonna say something?
No, I'm just saying. I think it was perfect what he did. He just did it in the wrong way. What he did, what he did was put himself in the worst possible situation, and he looked like a cultural appropriator. But in regards to the interracial thing, the funny thing is, the backstory on this movie is Lauren London is half Jewish. So this was the perfect role for her. Her father is Jewish, so it was a mistake, probably. You know, it was just coincidental, maybe, but her being in this role is perfect because she is half Jewish, half black. And in regard, you know, so I thought it was wonderful. And then, like when y'all were speaking about the multitude of people, stars in the movie, that's a Eddie Murphy staple. When you watch an Eddie Murphy movie, you're gonna see dozens and dozens of people who you recognize, and I think it makes it more warming and more open and welcoming.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Good point.
Agreed. Yeah. So do you just come to the hood for our food and our women, or do you hang in the hood all the time?
Yeah, man. And man, Nia has not aged a bit, man.
And I swear, I told
shout
who I
out to
was
Nia
watching
Long
the
real quick,
movie
man.
with, I said that Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. I'm like, man, that show looked like the Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles I went to. You know, it looked like the exact same one, man, in West Hollywood.
Yeah. I wouldn't doubt it. It may have been.
But in paying respect to black establishments. Now I don't know if that culture store. I tried to look it up. I don't know if that was a real store.
You'd think, wouldn't you?
Or not. But Roscoe's, they went to the basketball court. They went to the barbershop. I mean, they were hitting up spots that was for the culture. You know, like kind of like what.
Before they said anything about that red hoodie he had on, I said this is gonna be a problem. And when I was watching the movie, I said, why? I said, because he got a red hoodie on in LA. Right. I said, he choosing. I said, them blood color.
Yeah. And everybody else in there got blue on.
Yeah. Low and low.
Brave man.
The whole Holocaust ring apart to take that moment and just the way they flipped it, and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna tell her it's the Holocaust ring. It was my grandmother's Holocaust ring. Because he was like, that's Sam J was like, bro, that's super small, bro. You got to come up with a story or something. But I thought that was dope. Yeah, that's comedy. You're able to take something and you're able to use it as comedy. So
I think this was the essence of comedy. What they did was
took everything that
John with. Go ahead.
Go ahead, A-Trap.
No,
I was gonna say when she told Jonah Hill. I think I'm lagging. Somebody lagging.
You. Go ahead, A-Trap.
So when she told Jonah Hill about the size of the ring, and he was like, don't judge me. And she's like, I'm judging you, nigga, because the ring was so doggone small.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing with that?
All right, now A-Trap.
Actually, I forgot what I was gonna say. Go ahead.
We'll come back to it. Especially when it's on the tip of your tongue. We're like,
we'll come back. But even though the ring was small, they loved each other. They vibed off each other, and I think that was the biggest point in this is that no matter what the other person looks like or if the parents don't agree, if you love each other, you love each other. I honestly thought they were just going to run away and get married somewhere.
I mean, look at the stark differences. We went from Intergalactic, where she said, I don't date white men because of oppression. But then we have, you people. And, she just seemed right in there. It didn't matter. It's kind of like, hey, okay, well, he's funny, whatever. And then it just kind of worked out in a sense, I believe. So, yeah, it's definitely.
That's what I was going to say. It's going back to what Big Illinois said about the television aspect. That was the beauty in this. This was classic TV. This was classic comedy. Comedy used to make us laugh at our differences, make us laugh at things that are uncomfortable, homosexuality, the LGBTQ, interracial, black stereotypes and things of that nature. That's what really made me enjoy this because they took a page out of All in the Family. They took a page out of Blackish. They took a page out of Good Times and pushed it to the forefront. Maude, seeing how this was primarily Jewish.
Even Beverly Hills Cops. It was, if you see him walking through Beverly Hills, downtown Rodeo, I mean, it's just laughing at the guy that's twitching in the leather jacket. It's just he looking around, looking at all the fashion, looking at the cars. And it's one of those things. Oh, then he even had where he was playing the gay guy, where he walked into the I think it was a restaurant, or he walked in somewhere. He was looking to speak to the guy at the table at the breakfast. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just you had that comedy there.
Yeah, no doubt. A-Trap made a good point when he's mentioned All in the Family. I was thinking the exact same thing when he was talking about some of the comedy facets of the movie.
Yeah. Especially with Archie, and Archie.
They took everything in culture that's making us uncomfortable. Only thing they didn't touch was politics, which is even better because we don't need to talk about who's the president and things of that nature. Just laugh.
It was they didn't make it seem like it was in today's time. Everything doesn't need to be tied to what's going on.
Exactly.
Because it's like they're trying to set it into a more relatable point, but it doesn't need to be. It's comedy. It exists in its own world.
Exactly. Because if you bring politics in it, you date it. And that's the last thing you want to do is date anything that's funny, because then it becomes timeless. And as long as it's timeless, it will be funny in 30 years or in 50 years or in 100 years. So that's the part, like Big Illinois didn't appreciate it. And I can understand it because Big Illinois is a gigantic movie person. So when you're looking at this in 50 years, you'll be able to laugh at the potential of cultural appropriation, the uncomfortableness of dealing with the LGBTQ. Right. And one of my favorite things about this is simply they inculcated the LGBTQ and did not make it seem as if they were forcing it upon you. Deal with this gay thing. They just blended it into the story.
Right. Yeah. That's what's up.
Yeah, and Sam J, it was like, you just be you is what I'm thinking they told her. Don't try to make it something, just be you. And she was dope. She was just dope on her own. And I felt like she was a perfect fit for his friend in this movie.
Exactly.
Did you know she had titties? Yeah, Dad, they're in her jacket.
Yeah, they're there, yeah. At first he reached out and he was like,
he said, what's up, bro? And she goes, I got titties.
Well, he said, Mo. He said, what's up, Mo? He was like, oh, my fault. Mo got titties.
Yeah. Shout out to Cool McCain. Appreciate you for tuning in.
What's up,
He's got a variety of podcasts. I know he's excited. He's an Eagles fan. They're going to the Super Bowl. He said, I haven't seen this yet, but I'm interested in it. I would say definitely check it out. Definitely
Cool
watch it.
and the Gang McCain.
It's definitely one of those, talking about longevity. I think we could watch this next year and the year after and the year after, and it still be funny. So another funny scene, Ezra quitting, him practicing it with Lauren London talking about you got the juice. She was like, you ain't never seen Juice. He was like, stop telling me I ain't seen Juice. I felt like that was a good back and forth. And then him quitting, obviously, what he practiced, it obviously didn't go that way. It was so awkward. And
was it me, or did they kind of have a play on word with juice? At one point, she said, you got the Jews. So I thought they were just playing on you being Jewish instead of Jew.
Maybe.
Oh, I'm sure.
I didn't think about
I'm
that.
Sure. I didn't catch that, but I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because she put a little emphasis on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then that was cool the way they went with the couples thing in the crib, because a lot of times you will talk up yourself to your woman and then punk out, and then if it worked for you, go back home. Yeah, I had to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll manhandle this dude. Yeah. Yeah, knowing you the one that got beat up. But yeah, I thought that was good. It showed their relationship. I like how they showed how their relationship kind of built. I know they skipped forward what it said, like 6 months, but they showed how they interacted with each other and how and why it worked. Mm-hmm. So to me, that's another reason why it wasn't, that's not believable, because it just showed how they worked with each other. So
right, I thought they did a fantastic job illustrating the fact that they had both been in the dating world, and they kept striking out because they both put it in their own ways, but basically nobody was really seeing them for who they were, and that was important to them. And once they got together, it's like, okay, you really see me, and he said it. It really resonated with her on their very first date when he talked about their slides. She like, you trying to cap me on my slides or whatever. And he's like, no, I like them. He goes, and if you like them, he goes, I'm not somebody who thinks that if you like something that I got a problem with it. It doesn't matter. If you like it, you like it. So if you like it, I'm cool with it. And she was like, that's real,
Yeah.
So I think they did a good job of illustrating what they liked about each other.
Yeah, and the previous boyfriend that was in the group text with Eddie and basically was cut with Langston Hughes quotes. It was like, I just seen you put this in the text. I mean, it's like it was like you getting called out. Whatever you're doing,
pretty much, right?
Got it from a dad. The barbershop scene. I mean, we all know growing up, going to barbershops, we all know that when somebody comes in, you like, who this dude?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's been in a barbershop where you got that moment where it's like somebody to come in or somebody's friend. He was like, this dude don't want to cut, do he? Who is this? So I felt like that was perfect. Anthony Anderson was the perfect person, I think, to do that scene. And I was surprised. I didn't think he was in this movie. But again, Kenya Burris, Anthony Anderson, Blackish.
Makes sense.
He went to the well, man. He got the cats that he's worked with. And I felt like that was perfect.
Yeah, no doubt. I've been that dude before. When I travel, sometimes I'll intentionally go to the black barbershop, especially if I'm in need of a cut, I'll just save my cut intentionally just so I can kind of, especially if it's a city that I know I'm going to be returning to, I'll go try to make a connection in a black barbershop, especially in Indianapolis. And I remember while I was searching for those shops, the first time I walked into a shop, it's like, because in black barbershops, it's regulars, there's very few new customers. So when you walked in, I felt like I always had to be on my A game. I got to talk a little louder. I got to be a little fly. I got to be, so they like, okay, this nigga cool. But before, they looking at you like, there's like when you walk in the door, the conversation stops.
Yeah,
the record scratch, the music go off, and everybody looking at you.
Like who is this? Yeah,
like, what you want, nigga? Who you here for?
Right.
And I'm like,
got my BLT, man.
This is a barbershop, ain't it?
And if you white, man, it's 50 times worse, man. If you go in there by yourself, they could be like, you might as well just turn around, bro. You're at the wrong place.
Yeah.
Sporting. What is that called? Sport Clips is down the street. But and then when you walk in and you see the dude, you see 15 people in there. You see the dude at the end, nobody in his chair. He was like, "Hey man, come over here."
Exactly.
Don't go to that guy.
Your
line gonna be jacked up. You gonna have to go straight bald the next couple of weeks. Everybody know that dude. New at the barbershop or old head, don't know what he's doing, whatever. But everybody been in that before. The basketball scene, I thought was another great scene. Yeah. Another interaction. You want to test, is Ezra really who he says he is? Yeah. And at first I was like, there's no way Ezra gonna do anything on this court. And at first he was got a little roughed up.
But he didn't have a chance to because they were running over his ass.
Right. But then, he just flipped it and Eddie was filming it. I felt like that was a great interaction. Yeah. That was funny. Yeah. That was relatable. You could definitely see black, white, whatever. You could definitely see somebody pulling up to the court. Like you say, you can hoop. Go ahead. Go out there and let me see what you can do.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the reception would have been very similar. If he came out there and started balling like he did, I think the brothers would have embraced him like that. Like, oh, white boy got some game. They would do that. That's that. Let me put it to you like this. A white cat that can hoop got a lot better opportunity to come into a black court and being accepted than a brother who go to a predominantly white court and being accepted. I'm telling you like that. That's how we built, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. He got it. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, kind of like to Doc's point, and when they back at the at the restaurant with Eddie Murphy. Like she was saying, she's like, you know, they're. I think she said the word they're patronizing our culture. Is that what she said? I feel like that's not the right term she used, but she was saying like, but that benefits us, you know. So if they're versed in it and they know it, and they not just, you know, fly by night, you just trying to fit in. Like, hey, I really believed I enjoyed this. This is what I do. So it's like, hey, I enjoy basketball. I enjoy hooping. I want to get out there and hoop.
Yeah, and I think that's always the biggest conversation, right? Like we built this, and they come over and they want to participate in it too. At what time does it become you a culture vulture, or the time you just want to you feeling it, you actually feeling it? So that's always a line there. Yeah,
we've debated that on the Fourcast a few times about the picnic, the cookout. Do we invite them or not? So you know that's one of the beauties of this. People who just peep their head in on this show probably think we always agree with each other. And I got news for you. We do not always agree. And we've had some heated shit to where people are texting me like, y'all niggas all right? And I'm like, that's the beauty of this show. In fact, it is one of the things that I learned from H-Rap in our first week of knowing each other is the fact that having the conversation is what's most important. The agreement is not. You know, don't get wrapped up in that. Don't let the emotion of the fact that nigga don't agree with me cause a problem. You know, keep the discussion flowing. Don't worry about that.
Right.
You know,
it may be helping somebody. It may be
that's right. That's right. Don't get all sensitive, you know.
Right.
Yeah. A-Trap.
What I liked about the basketball scene is it didn't go classic, because usually when you go out there and you do something that the person who set you up to fail, when you fail, that usually triggers the warming up. At that point, Eddie was still like, I don't care Eddie didn't care if he'd have took off from the free throw line. He was still.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
It was like, you still not my boy. So,
because when he was doing good, Jonah like, did you get that too? And he's like, no, I missed. I'll get it next time.
Oh man.
Yeah. And then Eddie started cheering for, hey, don't let him do that.
Eddie was getting mad. Like, this not how it's supposed to go. It's not what I planned. Yeah.
There was a little James. Is it James Amos from
John
Amos? Is it John Amos? Yeah, I feel like there was a little John Amos there a little bit on the court. He's kind of channeling that a little bit.
Yeah, you got it mixed up with John Amos and his his name on the show, James.
Yeah, but I was trying not to say I was trying to say James almost, because that was another
blood in, blood out.
Exactly. Like, no, that's the other cat. That's the other cat. I don't want to say that name.
Deion Cole is one of the most underrated comedians, and on TV, the dude is on screen. The dude is golden, man. I think he just freestyled that too. When he talking about, we could do a Tron, Tron. Now we ain't got enough of the suits though. You can't, we ain't got one for you.
But what's funny? See, this is one of the little things that people miss. He goes, and they all work too. Because it's like you can tell that's a thing, right?
Yeah, like they never work.
And then another little thing that he said that was very subtle was, the spirit is telling me, that's classic black stuff. Do they all work?
The clothes.
I can feel it in my spirit. I can feel.
The spirit is telling me that we need to.
And Deion Cole from Chicago, right?
Kinda. He from Cook County.
Wow.
Kinda. Not quite.
Yeah, I didn't watch his latest special, but I watched a clip from the end of it, and he was talking about some personal issues that he's been going through.
Yep.
And he talking about how, when we comedians get up here, because we telling jokes and it's laughing and ha, y'all think everything good in our lives. He goes, but a lot of times that's not the case. He goes, so I just consider that sort of thing as you continue to support live comedy and et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I think his mom passed away, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
And he was having a very difficult time with that. You can tell he even lost some weight and stuff like that. You know, Deion Cole is much smaller than he used to be, you know. Yeah, he did a fantastic job in this.
Yeah, and a quick side note, rest in peace to Ricky Smiley's son. That news came across his oldest son passed away. That came across the timeline. So you just never know what. You just never know what people going through. I think today or might have been over the weekend. But and that one kind of hit me because I know he seemed like he was pretty healthy. So I don't know officially what happened, but
he hasn't released it.
Yeah, but you know,
say that again, Adrian.
He hasn't released the cause of death.
Okay,
but he has been active on Twitter, and he's actually encouraging people to show you that how spiritually grounded he is. He's encouraging people in his weakest hours.
Yeah.
So yeah, big ups to Rick.
Yeah, definitely pray for him and his family. But and the comedians, just the way Richard, one of me and Wilkes' coworkers, I think he used to say, man, comedians are they're people that are hurting, but they just display it in their comedy.
Right.
So you may think that they're not exactly. That's it. You think that they're not hurting or they always funny, but there's plenty of comedians we know that have passed away from overdoses or passed away.
Even I'll give you a classic example: Robin Williams.
Yeah, that's the biggest one. Yeah,
he struggled with depression big time.
Yeah, Chris Farley too is another one.
Mm-hmm.
The dude was hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, trauma and comedy are cousins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good point.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely. So definitely, those comedians you see, man, keep them in your prayers. You never know what they're experiencing.
Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor is another one. I mean, there's a lot in what they experience and what they go through. So at this point in time in the show, if you're ready,
I am.
All right, let's get to it. Beauty of the week.
Hey, and a quick shout out. I hadn't done this in a long time. A quick shout out to Golden Eye Creations on the music for the Fourcast and that particular segment. We got a couple of podcasters on there. If y'all are in need of music or graphics, holla at Golden Eye Creations. I promise you, he can get you right. So for our beauty of the week, the first thing I thought about was the fact that I'm about to award a Beauty of the Week prize on a movie with Nia Long in it and not making her the Beauty of the Week. What the fuck is this world coming to?
Yeah.
So Nia Long, no cap, can get it any time she wanted, right? And then, of course, people who are gonna automatically say, Ben's one of them. My little sister Lily, the baby queen, posted on social media this week about how good Lauren London looked in the movie. I commented on, hey, Lauren London's fashion in this, her different hairstyles.
She was like that on the game.
Sexy. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, to zoom in a little bit, like
I get it. Lauren London can get it. I ain't no Nipsey, but I can get tipsy with it. You feel me? This week's winner of the Beauty of the Week is none other than the one, the only,
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
La Anthony. Hey, I want to do some la, nigga. You hear me? La
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 la la
la la la la. Holla at your boy, la la. Hey,
Man.
what in the role that got it for me, man? Because again, I just assumed, like everybody else, that this was gonna be Lauren London's award to lose. But when Lala Anthony,
Yeah.
during them wedding bachelorette parties and stuff, when them outfits that she had on, and I'm gonna tell you what won it for. When she walked across the screen to go grab that wig and walk back, that walk was like, I'm out. It's over. I'm paused the movie and started downloading pictures and say, this is done. She got it. So hey, and I'm gonna tell you like this too. Lala Anthony in what was it in the Ghost Power, when she was in that, I wasn't necessarily even feeling her big time in that. You know, I'm like, Lala ain't really getting on nothing in it. But hey, and I'm gonna tell you too, at the end, at the last scene, whenever they doing the wedding dance and she was doing a little twerking on somebody, I'm like, you just you was already winning. Now you winning.
Now you done won now. You done won now.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now. I wrote down, I said Lala Anthony was given straight fire vibes. Lala, holla at your boy. If anybody out there know Lala, tell her I got some Lala for her Lala.
Well, the good news is Mello done fumbled that. So you might want to get them DMs.
Yeah. That's why I got to be a good nigga, because you know if he's 6 foot, how tall is Carmelo? I can't get in where he fit in. You feel me? So I got to be just a real good nigga to you, Lala. You know, and I know I can.
Man. Wow.
Yeah, man. That's it. Just Joe. I know that you said that's what you was waiting on. So I need to know, Joe, who was your beauty of the week in this one, man? For me, hey, a walk do something to me, man.
Yeah, she was nice.
And hey, Lala,
you looking good.
Hey, and I'm gonna tell you something, Wilkes. You notice how this glass keep getting?
I see that. Yeah, it never runs out.
Drinking on it all day. Because I had a pitcher sitting beside me. I don't know why.
Hey, I see that's always full.
Yeah.
Hey, every time I take a drink, I fill it back up.
You got an outfit over there too.
Hey, when I used to go to the club, the waitress come holler at me and stuff. I'm like, bring me 2, bourbon and 7, whatever I was drinking. And she like, all right. I said, hey, bring me 2 more every 10 minutes until I'm drunk. And then bring me 2 every 5 minutes, motherfucker.
Like the prophet told the lady in the Bible, just keep digging in the barrel. Just give me your last that you got to eat.
Yeah.
It'll fill back up.
Yeah.
So if there's anybody out there know Lala, get this tape to her.
Lala.
Yeah.
Lala, please run it to him.
Man, I got about 400,000 Southwest Airlines miles. I can come see you anytime you want me to.
Rick Ross said I'm a plane flight away.
You're right, Joe. You're right, Joe. And hey, Nia Long, the older she gets, the more. Look at her. Oh, she ain't nothing wrong with Nia. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah. She been in the game for a minute.
Yeah, but the way the boy did on Soul Food, I can't fuck with her no more.
Thanks.
You're going way back.
Way on back.
Way back.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but it was hey, matter of fact, all the Lauren home girls at the wedding was bringing it though. You know, at the bachelorette party, it was out.
Yeah, they did the palm string.
Yeah, but I like the way when she pulled the wigs off and they was over there talking to the girl. A lot of things people missed. They're like, your braids look good though. You know, stuff like that.
The braids look good.
People would have missed that.
It's all right, girl.
See, that is the detail that Kenya and Jonah paid attention to, man, that sends this one over the top, man. It's the small details that they made this work.
And of course, Julia Louis-Dreyfus up there. So why didn't you get the tattoo on the heart side?
Right. Right. And not only that, she looking at she goes, did you know this was a wig? No, I didn't know. But look at the craftsmanship.
Look at the craftsmanship.
What is that called?
And the orange up tops? I just, wow.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Is that a lace? Front. What is that called?
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah. So many vets, man. So many vets in this movie.
Yeah.
If it didn't come off, we would tell you that it bombed.
Yeah.
But
This is a great time to bring up Mike Epps and
Yes.
these
Mike
jokes.
Hey, look at here, the wedding rehearsal toasts, man.
Yeah.
When I say that was like 10 straight minutes of nothing but laughter, one right after the other was saying some fucked up shit in their toast, right?
Yeah.
Highlighted by Mike Epps, who's at the end of his, he talking about, I done said the wrong shit.
I done said the wrong shit. Don't listen to me.
Yeah.
He was a drunk. He was a drunk uncle.
Oh,
He was a
God.
drunk uncle.
Hilarious. Hey, the white cat, the white dude
Barry
who
White.
was talking about the shot. He goes, "In that vaccine." You know, like he wasn't saying that. He was like, "Y'all know."
Yeah, I know what I'm talking about.
Making people gay.
You know what I'm
It
talking
was
about.
hilarious, man.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. I think that dude did perfect. Let me put it like this: whatever his check was, that white cat earned it in that scene, man.
I think he's a comedian. If I'm not mistaken. That's I've seen it actually his stand up. Let me see if that's the same guy. I
Is
think
that the
that's
same dude who said, "Hey, we need your coke guy in Vegas"? Is that the same guy?
Is that the one? Oh yeah, I think it
was that a
was the
different
same
white
guy.
dude?
He was like, I don't do coke.
Wasn't
man.
that
I
the
don't know what
same
you're talking
dude?
Yeah, that was the same guy.
Like, no,
his name's
you do.
Andrew Schultz.
You
yeah.
do. You
He's like, the coke, the
time.
coke guy.
Yeah.
The coke. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, no.
I don't have a coke guy.
Then the coke guy pulls up. And that dude's a comedian too. There was a lot of comedians. The coke guy was a comedian. But yeah, Eddie basically ruined
He's
it.
like, yeah, he says coke guy right on his knuckle. It says coke guy.
And then he threw it right at him. So
he says, "Hey man, thank you for the such and such package you sent me for my thing." He goes, "Here you go, my guy." You know, Eddie's like, "So wait a minute, you mean to tell me everybody you know do coke,
Right?
But you don't?"
But you
know, it's like, yeah, man, it's really hard too. It's really, I missed them the way they were.
What did he say?
Jonah was.
Yeah, and then
Jonah
Mike
was
Epps had brought it back around. He's like, "Come on, man. You remember when you know what coke is?"
You remember Rick James?
Yeah, you remember Rick James? Yeah. You know that album? No, I don't know the Rick James album.
And that's a reference. That's a reference to real life.
Oh, I'm sure
Rick James used to run.
Yeah. I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know.
Well, because he has a matter of fact I think it's on Jimmy Kimmel where it said something about Eddie Murphy. It got snowed in at Rick James' house.
I saw that same little clip. Yep.
Yeah.
Party all the time.
Party all the time. Yep. FL
Produced by Rick James.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah. In the video.
Right.
In the music video.
So man, all along, I was expecting them to just run away and get married, just because the family situation was so jacked up on both sides. I was just waiting for them to say, "All right, we just about to leave and get married." But then it kind of, I don't know if y'all was thinking the same thing, or did y'all expecting them? I
feel like that was the typical ending to a romantic comedy like that, rom-com, as they say. I think they wanted to do different because that is a typical. Well, we just gonna, our parents don't get along. We really like each other. We're gonna move around and do this thing. But I like the different trip that it took.
What about you, H-Rad? What did you think about where it went with the
relationship? I could see that they, in most romantic comedies they break up. So it was perfect the way they had it. They didn't go, as he said, as Wilkes just said, they didn't go down a traditional path and they took it to another place. I like the way they did that, and I saw it coming because you saw the little racial tension building because they showed you what the underlying message was. I can tell you things about me, but in white culture, it seems that they'll openly talk about it, and they'll go back and forth. But in our culture, look, if I tell you something, you keep that under your hat.
Yeah.
And if I bring it back up,
right,
then you have the right to listen, but you can't comment. And that was helping people from outside of our culture understand how sensitive things can be.
Yeah, that's what's up.
It's raining like that.
Mhm.
Say?
We're getting soaked over here.
Oh,
Yeah,
I can't hear it, but
Just a little bit.
I'm sure it
Hey,
is. The road's gonna be icy.
Will, you say that again? We getting what?
We getting a little soaked over here.
That's what she said.
La call your boy.
1-800 I King Duck.
Yeah. Call your boy.
Hit his line.
Yeah.
But yeah, the wedding at the end I thought was a dope twist. I was not expecting that. I just thought, all right, they're gonna bring them back together, and
Right.
you know, the parents wanted
fast
to
forward or something like that.
Yeah, the parents wanted to apologize and like, hey, we want to bring y'all together, you know, surprise
Real
y'all
quick, back
together.
to H-Rap's point. There was a point in the movie where at the podcast she was saying like white people and black people
Don't get along.
cannot get along.
They'll never be cool.
Yeah,
they'll never be cool.
Yeah, never be cool. Because there's and that's a loaded statement.
That's a show by itself. That comment alone is podcast show worthy. It's worth at least an episode of a podcast.
Absolutely. Because it goes back to so many different avenues and rabbit holes. Where just like once again, I told I'm gonna say this real quick. It was just like I was talking to Ben today. There was a post on ESPN and on Facebook, which I don't know why I read the opinion section, but they posted the two first black quarterbacks together to face off in the Super Bowl.
Black Sunday.
In the comments, of course, the comments were like, "Oh, good way to race bait ESPN. I just see two guys playing football. Stop.
Get the fuck out of here.
Stop."
I don't see color.
And how is ESPN? Yeah, and how is ESPN race baiting by saying two black quarterbacks in history to face? If we're still saying first black, first Hispanic, first Native, anything, we have a problem.
Thank you.
Why does that make you so uncomfortable? So that's back to her statement.
Isn't it amazing? There's a book that I'm gonna recommend. Remember the guys who I was telling you about on the group chat that was talking about this movie?
Yeah.
One of them for Christmas sent all the guys in the group. That's who sent that bottle of what's that Jack Daniels guy H-Rap that we were talking about?
Single barrel.
What's his name?
Gentleman Jack or Single Barrel.
Uncle Nearest.
Uncle Nearest.
Right. Okay. So he sent the same guy that sent that. Along with that, he sent a book, The Rise of the Black Quarterback. And isn't that ironic that 30 days later, you got for the first time ever two black quarterbacks in NFL in the Super Bowl.
Right.
You know, so again, isn't it something? You give us a shot at it.
Yeah.
Not only are we going to accept, we're going to be the Super Bowl
quarterback.
And I'm talking about in a league when you got quarterbacks such as Joe Burrow, the cat out of San Diego. I forget his name.
Herbert.
You know what I'm saying? The guy out of Buffalo.
Aaron Rodgers. I mean,
Aaron
like
Rodgers, the cat out of Buffalo. Josh Allen. You know what I'm saying? And you got these brothers leading their squads. And hey, I'm not a Philly fan. Matter of fact, for the record, fuck Philly. Okay. But you got to give Jalen Hurts.
Got two Texas boys in there, man.
That's right. That's another first for this Super Bowl. The first time two quarterbacks born in Texas face each other in the Super Bowl. But you got to give Jalen Hurts his props, man, for what that kid done went through. This is the same kid that he got benched at the national championship game for two.
Yeah, he's won a championship. Right. I don't know if he's won one in high school, but obviously he's won one in college.
And he also got hurt. Didn't he bounce back from an injury? I thought.
Yeah, he got hurt. But he was out for about 4 or 5 weeks.
Mahomes is hurt
right now.
Yeah, Mahomes is hurt too.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Mahomes, that ankle, man.
But one good thing about this entire thing, and it kind of ties into the theme of this movie. Jalen Hurts is his agent is the first black woman to be an agent in the National Football League.
Wow. What I'm saying, man, we still saying first, man. That's what. But you got an issue with ESPN pointing that out.
Yeah.
I'm looking at these non-black people, these white folks talk about, good way to race bait. It's not race bait. Why are you so offended by using the term first black quarterback? How's that racist?
They're scared.
It's almost like they don't want to. It's like anytime you mention a black person, if you say, that's a black person, you're just being racist. How's that being racist?
Wilkes, have you ever done something wrong and every time it's brought up, you don't want it to be brought up no more.
Right.
Think about that. Think about that with your wife. You know you
Yeah.
fucked
Like,
up.
man, we gonna
And when
keep
she
doing
bring
that.
it up, it's like, damn, we got to keep talking about this.
Right.
That's what it is. And even though they may not be directly responsible, they are indirectly responsible. They don't want to be talking about that shit, man.
No, of course not. Because like I said, even the comments were like, "Oh, I just see two people playing football."
Yeah.
That's all I see.
Stop, bro.
Yeah, of course. That's all we see. But that ain't how they see.
It's crazy.
I don't see two black quarterbacks.
All right, Ben, take control of this shit. Wrap this shit up, man. My drink about to be out. My pitcher is empty, motherfucker.
All right, let's get to the end of this show as we always do. Let's give our rating. We rated 1 to 5 mics, 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. We are putting that on the wherever the show's going to be on Roku and on YouTube. We'll put our group rating on there so you guys can see that. All right, so let's go to Wilkes. Let's go to Wilkes first. Final thoughts and mic rating.
I was going with a 4.5 mics, but I think I'm just putting it at a 4. I mean, but man, the music, the clothes, the location, I mean, just classic. All the top veteran actors in there and the up and coming, just man. But I put it at a 4.
Okay. All right. Get out of here.
That's what I was laughing at.
Get out of here. Watch it again. Watch it again.
Yeah.
After watching this show, watch it again.
You know what? I'm going to adjust my mic rating thing because I think we keep saying it can only be a 5 mic if it stands up to this movie right here. But you got comedy, you got drama, you got thrillers, and
That's
things.
a good point, A-Trap.
So
good point.
I'm gonna give it a 4.5, but it's not because it's as good as Exterminate the Bruce or it's as good as this movie over here.
That's what's up, man.
It's a standalone situation for each category. So in regards to comedy, because it touched culture, it touched the differences in culture, it gave you music, it gave you fashion. It had excellent dialogue. It made you feel, as Wilkes was just saying, it brought the uncomfortable conversation to the forefront. So as a matter of fact, I'm going to give it a 5 because it touched all bases of culture and society, and it made you deal with it unlike any other comedy I've seen in about 25 years.
All right, stop.
I'm just gonna say a couple of things. We've been talking quite a bit about the subtleties of this movie. A couple of them are Nia Long during one of the conversations. It might have been at that lunch with Jonah Hill. She goes, and we've been talking about that over the last few weeks, and it stood out to me. And they didn't address it. The camera didn't look at her. Didn't that? She just go, But the fact that they put that in, right? And then the fact that they called Julia Louis-Dreyfus' character Miss Shelley. They were telling you how our culture respects our elders and whatnot, you know. And the first thing Lauren London's character told her, if I was to call you anything but Miss Shelley, my mama would have a fit. And then her mama still called her Miss Shelley. At the end, whenever you okay, Miss Shelley? You know, and then she going to check on Lauren.
Right.
Another little thing is the fact that Eddie Murphy, during his wedding toast, where he could have thrown Jonah Hill under the bus for what he did in Vegas, and he didn't. And when him and Jonah talked, and he goes, I didn't do that for you. I did that for my daughter. I said that says so much about Black fathers that is constantly missed in our society today, right? And then finally, when Jonah told him, I'll never know what it's like to be a Black person in this country, but I know what it's like to be an asshole. And I said to myself, it is far too often that we're on both sides of the aisle, blacks and whites, where you're just being an asshole right now. You're not being pro-Black, you're not being pro-white, you're not being progressive, you're just being an asshole. And sometimes you got to call out the asshole. And for that reason, amongst the several others that we have all stated, I am right there with A-Trap, and I give it 5 mics too.
Yeah, I'll say this. I agree with a lot of what Doc said. I think there was a lot of subtleties in the movie, but also it was hilarious. And like I said at the beginning, it had so many star-studded actors that everybody got screen time, and we could all point out something that they did that was hilarious. Even to the sister of Jonah Hill, the funny part she had
at the end when him and the other brother was dancing together. And
right,
shit.
exactly,
That was
exactly. David Duchovny singing "Ordinary People" just out of the blue with Laura London facing him like he was like, let me do this personal concert.
Right.
Man, it was. I thought it was great. I was a little skeptical because I'm like, man, it's a lot in this. To me, it was a lot riding on this movie because again, you had so many people in it. Eddie was great. Laura London was great. Jonah Hill, I think, showed even further range than what I thought he had. And then the podcast part of it, just really showing how you can take a podcast from one point and take it to they had Complex. That's who the podcast got signed by. So I'm gonna give it a 5. I think this is one of the best that we've done. And there we go.
Yeah.
So
And real quickly, on some of the other reviews, I always like to look at this too to see how other people rated it. And there's a couple of folks I want to check. One of them being with the Chicago Sun-Times. But let me just say this. IMDb, 5.6 out of 10, 44% Rotten Tomatoes, 50% Metacritic, 74% Google. I think y'all just hating. All right. Pete Hammond of Deadline called it brilliantly hilarious, pertinent, and wickedly smart. Kristen Zilko of IndieWire graded the film a B+ and concluded that it ends up being more of a feel-good rom-com and a love letter to Los Angeles than truly biting satire. What the fuck did you watch? Right. And then finally, Richard Roper of the Chicago Sun-Times wrote, and I quote, "It sinks under the weight of its obviousness and a consistently heavy-handed approach, despite the sometimes stylish and well-paced direction from Kenya Barris and an incredibly talented cast." So he's trying to say that they were too heavy-handed with the racism stuff, but it was necessary in this film. The fact that you think it sinks under the weight of that, hey, you're completely missing the point, homie.
Well, that's what and that goes back to that post. People you want to see
completely missing the point.
You missing the point, man.
It's like I don't know if you don't want to have the conversations. When is the right time to have the conversation? When is the right time to put it in a film?
Right.
And they did it, and it was funny.
And just like Ben said, that is a way to dodge the conversation. You want to make it seem like it does not exist. You're trying to whitewash it, wipe over it, wipe it clean. Oh, this is, I don't know why this is always like this, or this, why are they so heavy on? I was like, what do you mean? Because this is what's going on. This actually exists.
Right.
But I won't extend the time.
One thing I like to add is I like the fact that Eddie Murphy has transitioned into best supporting actor role. It's very rare that
100
a black entertainer transitions into that,
or is willing to do so. H.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, I don't know if they're not willing. I don't think they get the opportunity because think about it. After the 70s, we didn't see Sidney anymore. We rarely see Harry Belafonte. We see James Earl Jones sparingly, but Eddie has been, as he said on Jimmy Kimmel, he's been in the business for 45 years now.
Right.
So Eddie has gone from upstart to the next best thing, to the hottest thing in Hollywood, to the hottest thing in children's movie, to a comeback, and now he's in a supporting role. He's run the gambit of entertainment. So I just want to give him his flowers. I'm a gigantic, and he's my favorite entertainer in the history of the world. So it's easy for me to say it, but it is beautiful that he has taken that Robert Redford, what's his name? Robert De Niro kind of deal where he's just, I'm in the movie. It ain't about me. It's still a movie, but I'm going to be in the background still shining.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to have to fight Ben off his ass to get to it now.
But yeah, man, Eddie. Yeah, Eddie has done all of it.
How could we
He's done all of
forget
it.
the Kofi scene, man?
Oh, right.
Oh,
The
God.
Kofi burning? Yeah.
Don't step on it.
The Kofi that he got given by who gave it to him? Farrakhan.
Louis
What do you
Farrakhan.
like about it?
Yeah. And then she said, I got a piece of it. Maybe I can somehow
frame it.
like
Oh,
what are you
he's got
talking
plenty
about?
of Kufis. Oh, he got a Kufi closet. No, it's a little bit more respectful. Oh, okay, it's a Kufi shelf.
She was trying way.
And some of Laura
Yeah.
London's facial expressions is 100% sister.
Right.
It is black chick all day long, man.
Yeah.
When
Even
he
in the
got
car scene, get out of my car. I'm gonna need you to leave.
when Jonah Hill got in the car, that was all the way black. That was us.
And I like the way
showed us.
Nia Long supported Eddie.
That's
You
right.
know, she was there like
That's right. Just preach, mother. Preach, mother.
yeah.
Preach, mother.
And then at the end when he was wrong, she checked him when he was wrong, which was dope.
That's true.
Right. Yeah, because it showed black love. It showed the parents. It wasn't like, oh, he was a single dad. I was about to get pissed if they would have made him a single dad, but I'm glad Nia Long was in it.
Because it would have been the typical, her mom passed when she was 12.
And then I would have been like, come on, man, don't do that. So they hit everything. I don't know how long it took, but they hit everything and they hit every point. They showed both sides. This was a classic, man. I don't care what anybody say. It was a classic.
But the reason those people didn't like it is because it was addressing issues, as you stated. When you make a mistake and someone puts the spotlight on that mistake, you don't want to bring it up no more.
Yeah, I don't want to see that. Well, too bad. It goes on. It goes on whether you like it or not, whether you see it or not. That don't mean it's not happening.
And the sad part is if you just address it, it will go away.
Exactly.
That's it. 100.
Don't run. All right, next week we're gonna do Is That Black Enough for You? And this is
dope.
Samuel is in it. There's a lot of people, and I think this is gonna be good. I've been waiting on this one. So it's on Netflix as well. Go ahead and get a head start. Go ahead and you can watch it now. And what's coming up tomorrow on End of the Bench?
It's a mystery show because I haven't written anything down.
Pop-up show.
That's the best one. Hey, how did the NPR?
It was pretty cool. It was homeboy. You know, actually, it was a meeting with the NPR people because homeboy was a commander in the Navy and he's in the midst of his executive MBA. So he needed I was more of an advisor than anything else. And I just basically gave them information about podcasting and things of that nature. So it was more of a advisory thing, a panel, so to speak.
Okay. All right. And I'll say this, man. There is a lot of people. I run into people almost weekly or monthly, I'll say. That's more that are like, hey, how do I do this? What is it? I mean, so the lane for podcasting is so wide open. You know, you got people from Oprah to the dude down the street that wants to get into it. So, you know, there it is. Queen 3 and King tomorrow.
Yes, we are actually going to do the same shit we did tonight. We're going to review You People. Queen 3 and King ain't never reviewed a movie, but when I got through watching it, I begged my sisters, let's do this tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I think it's so much meat and I want to get a female's perspective on things. So that's what we'll do. So tune in tomorrow to Queen 3 and King, 7 p.m., same bat time, same bat channel. And before I relinquish the floor, Lala.
Call the brother, please. Run into it.
Please.
Run into it.
Holla at me.
Well, if you watch an interview on the Breakfast Club, you got a shot. She said she want a regular dude.
Hey, let me call her. Shit.
Yeah, that should be great tomorrow. And you were ready to do this Saturday night, man. You were in the chat like, hey, we need to do this
ready.
now.
I done laid my clothes out shit for this shit.
In the Prince room.
Yeah, got an outfit laid out for tomorrow already, too. Shit.
Ready.
All right.
Ready.
Close us out, H-Rock.
You already know, man. As I stated, man, everybody got their W-2, so you know I ain't got it. So if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
It's for you, H-Rock.
Who